Well, the series is done and dusted. India have changed history forever by winning in Australia. What was the moment? What can you tragically tell us in the fact that you've watched every single second of this series, Nasha? What was the turning point that we might have missed?
Well, I'm going to cheat slightly and borrow a thought from Tim Payne a few moments ago in the post-series press conference. A long test series, 4 matches. They are wonderful, these longer test series, because they do throw up narratives from start to finish. And he went back as early as the first and second day of the series when he believes Australia had a chance to take control in Adelaide. The score suggested they certainly missed their moment. India were 86 for 5 early in that first test match. No doubt India fans remember it well. They were probably very nervous about India's prospects in this series at that point. And then Australia had a chance to churn out a sizable lead on what was still a pretty good Adelaide pitch. They missed their chance twice in that game, and as it's turned out a month later, they've come out 2-1 behind. Tim Payne even went as far as to suggest it could have been 2-1 the other way. Indian fans may think that's rewriting history a touch. India have been far better in these last 2 tests, and you do think that with one more dry day here in Sydney, they would have won 3-1, which perhaps would have been a fairer reflection on the series on the series as a whole. But it does go to show that over these long series, the key moments can come quite early on, and that first couple of days was Australia's missed chance.
I really think someone should write a movie about that and have it star John Hannah and Gwyneth Paltrow and call it Sliding Doors.
I'm not sure that would go very well.
It's a big hit. Well, as I was watching every single ball of every over of this very long series,
Apart from when you were talking to us all the time.
Every
or
single
tweeting,
ball of every moment of this series.
Or drinking coffee.
And guess what? That whole time that I was doing none of the things he was talking about and all I just watching, I didn't see any LBWs from an Australian seam bowler. In fact, there was only one from that Nathan Lyon got at all in the whole series. That's very unusual for Australia in Australia. Perhaps it's a little bit indicative of the absence of swing that seems to have followed them around.
There's that elephant again.
Let's see. You've been drinking. If sees elephants,
been a long series,
they're all pink elephants.
Yeah. Oh, look,
yeah, exactly. There hasn't been there though. Reverse swing in particular, not that we're suggesting anything about the elephants that Nasha sees, but in the absence of that, perhaps being able to do what they might normally do and pitch it up and bring the stumps into play, the LBW into play, that has sort of not been there. Now that begs another question too. In Australia this time around, they haven't necessarily got the bouncy and quick pitches that they might hope for and that might suit them. And so in that case, what has tended to happen is they haven't really had a plan B, or Mitchell Starc in particular.
Not sure they had a plan Z sometimes, bowling to Pujara.
Plan
I think
A.
they've gone through the entire alphabet trying to get Pujara out.
Yeah, that's true. But there is some concern that some of Australia's bowlers, like perhaps Mitchell Starc, might not have as many other tricks in the book, whether it be the slower balls, whatever it is, that allow them to have more options when it's a flat track. So maybe that's something that they will need to go away and look at. Maybe it could be something that they look at doing what England have done in the past, and maybe take a more horses for courses approach where they have different bowling attacks for different conditions. I mean, it's a brilliant bowling attack they've got, there's no doubt about that. But whether or not it's the right one for every single occasion, maybe they should just do what India do and just have a completely different team all the time and make changes for every single one. Never ever field the same team twice, because that's what gets you to number one, clearly.
Talking of India's selections, it actually brought up one of the interesting comparisons in this series. In Melbourne, India completely changed their opening partnership, and one of the people they brought in was Mayank Agarwal. He's gone on and made 2 very classy 70s in the final 2 test matches. He's a player that's earned his chance through sheer weight of runs in domestic cricket, biding his time with a lot of very good batsmen that India produce. It's a stark contrast to what Australia are going through at the moment, and it's almost the potential versus performance argument that we've heard a bit off this week about how players are being selected. It's perhaps no surprise that Marcus Harris has been the small shining light in Australia's batting lineup this series. He came into the season in pretty red hot form for Victoria, got selected, and no surprise he's found it more possible to score runs. But if you look at some of the other batsmen, you've got to question whether they've done enough at domestic level to be worthy of their chance in Test cricket. It'll be interesting to see going forward. We've got a Test squad being named in a couple of days to face Sri Lanka, and then there'll be another one later in the season, for the Ashes series in England. Whether Australia's sectors do just flip their methods a little bit and just look at sheer weight of runs in Shield cricket. So does that bring in the likes of Joe Burns and Matthew Wade, just as two examples who are averaging over 45 this season? I think what this series has shown is you obviously can't replace David Warner and Stephen Smith overnight, but you can give yourself a better chance by at least picking seasoned professionals who know their game rather than throwing in kids.
Well, that was quite measured, Nasha, but I'm going to finish with a rant because I'm angry, Nasha. I'm angry. And so should all of you be. And I know a lot of you are, because this has been the most frustrating way to finish a series. Now, there's nothing you could do about that really annoying, mizzly, drizzly stuff that was hanging around at the SCG on the final day. But on the fourth day, I mean, you've got 8 massive light towers there. Well, what are they there for? Just to make the skyline look pretty? I don't know. But to the fact that we can play cricket at night, but we can't play cricket because it's a bit of a gloomy day, is ridiculous. The fact that we can't change session times and have lunch early because of that, it's ridiculous. How would you feel if you had come to this match, brought your kids along to see a day's cricket, and that's what you got? Seeing the lights on, the fans all had their phones on. Maybe they should, I don't know, maybe they should light some bonfires, something, anything. But here's 2 scenarios that I want you to think about. One, we come to the SCG in that sliding doors moment after Gwyneth Paltrow and John Hannah went off into the sunset.
In our best-selling movie.
Well, actually, she
that we're
died.
going to sell.
Yeah, she died.
Oh.
But they come here, and the series is level at 1-1, and this is a decider. How can that actually even be a possibility? But it is. The other scenario, Test Championship, when it starts, you get a game like this, might not have actually decided the series, although it could have drawn the series, but it could be worth however many points, and that could be the difference between one team going to Lords for the final and not going to Lords for the final. So that's a thing I think the ICC are going to have to look at the playing conditions, because it's a disservice to the fans and it's a disservice to the players, and it makes me really grumpy. We'll see you later.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.